Hey everyone, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Although I am a licensed clinician, I'm also just a person. I love to be able to be in my real life and speak from that point. And that's where this podcast is coming from. So enjoy.
Searching for truth, looking for answers. There must be a way to another day.
Welcome everybody to A Convenient Truth. This is part one of our interview with Dr. Milton Delerme, Alyea's father, the eye surgeon. And we have a part two coming out probably tomorrow. The first part we discuss kind of Milton's background and how he got to where he is now as an eye surgeon in New York. And we get to understand a little bit about who he is and where he came from and, his just history and lead up to how he became a doctor. In part two, we get more into vaccinations, more into COVID, and Milton's point of view from a doctor's perspective. And it gets very interesting. So definitely check that one out tomorrow when it comes out. So enjoy part one of Dr. Milton Delerme's interview at A Convenient Truth. Enjoy.
Are we live?
We are live.
We're good. Hey, everyone.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? It's Alyea here.
You always say I thought we stopped doing that.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, Alyea, because everybody knows.
Everyone knows who we are already. Right.
But,
that's
right.
But
who we do have two special guests today.
We do.
We have Dr. Milton Delerme. He is an eye surgeon currently up in New York. You're in Manhattan?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is Alyea's father.
You guys have heard about him if you've been
This
following.
is the infamous Milton.
Infamous Milton. The man, the myth, the Milton.
Yeah. And then we also have Carol. And you were a former pharmaceutical rep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When was that?
The years 1988 to 2006.
Wow. All right. So
Did the same
we got an interesting little group today. We've been out and about all day doing barbecues and whatnot, and
Right.
we're here. And
An entrepreneur, a psychotherapist, a surgeon, and a pharmaceutical rep walk into a bar.
yeah,
And then
here we are. We say, give us some water. Speaking of, you got that Delta 8?
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to do a quick promo for this because
quick rundown.
This has
People
been
need to know.
changing my life. So Delta 8, if you don't know about it, I gave everybody the quick little spiel a little earlier, but Delta 9 is the form of THC prior to becoming THC. I hope I'm not getting too complicated here. So Delta 8 is also a form prior to igniting and creating a chemical reaction. Anyways, Delta 8 is a form of THC that actually gives you energy as opposed to THC that kind of just gets you really high and locks you in the couch. So I've actually been using this because I actually quit espresso and coffee and all. So now I just hit this once and I'm like ready to roll. So since it's, a later podcast.
Yeah, this is like bedtime podcasts for me, guys. Like 9 p.m., I am out.
Yeah.
Delta 8's got to come in.
So I'm on this.
Gotta
It's right there. I know. We have a lot of professionals in the house, so we won't be utilizing this. But I guess I'm.
But
I'm the
it
least
is legal,
professional.
everyone. Just
is
so that
illegal.
You know, it is legal in
legal.
everywhere, in all the
You
states.
can get it at any CBD shop.
Yeah.
Just ask for Delta 8.
And I will say though, like on another serious note with it, you guys, for anyone who has like anxiety, for anyone who has, pain, chronic pain, arthritis, anything like that, I actually have used the CBD as well as the Delta 8 for arthritis, because as you guys know, if you have been listening to the podcast, I was diagnosed with arthritis and lupus, and we're still trying to figure all that stuff out, right? But I've noticed that since I have, like the times that I have done the Delta 8, for any like anxiety or just like overwhelming feeling, gone. Arthritis actually has gotten better with consistency of the CBD.
Yes, because you're taking the CBD
Every single night, right.
Also, you
and
just added in this TRS, which...
I added in the TRS, which we've also talked about here, which is that metal detox thing.
Yeah.
So
I've been using that for months, and it's super... clears my head.
Yeah. If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah. Okay, so, Milton, we kind of wanted to start off with just understanding how you became the
Dr. Milton
world
Delerme.
famous eye surgeon that you are now. Like your early beginnings and what made you go into becoming an eye surgeon or choosing that route. I mean, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
But, let's start from when you were younger.
Yeah, people have asked me that question. It's not like I always wanted to become a doctor. I went through a lot of different phases in my life. So, I grew up in East Harlem, in our barrio, and family of 11, 7 brothers, 4 sisters. And I was actually the first one to go to college through a scholarship. And I actually wanted to become a pilot. I wanted to fly planes. So I got into aviation high school. And from there, I decided, engineering was what I wanted to try.
Oh, right, because you were an engineer first.
So I went into...
That's the path I went down, too, by the way.
I went into...
I'm married to him, and he's my dad, so interesting, guys.
So I went into engineering school at Pratt Institute, and then had to decide, again, there's always 2 years later, you have to decide, what kind of engineer? Mm-hmm. Electrical, mechanical, chemical. Mm-hmm. Let's say, electrical. And Pratt had a work-study program where you went to school one semester, and you went out to the field the next semester, and that would help pay your tuition. So I had a great experience working with
So I don't mean to interrupt, but if you could just speak up a little bit, just because we have a weird setup today that's not in our normal spot, so we're trying to.
That's why we don't have microphones here.
Yeah, and we don't have microphones because we're not professional and we don't know anything.
Right.
And they always tell me I mumble, so I really have.
Yeah, you got to.
My kids always. But so actually that gave me experience to see what it was like in the field, and I don't know, it was something about working in some of the industry that I basically wanted, I wanted a feel that I was more independent rather than working for a company. I'll tell you.
You felt that in college, or
while I was
when you were working?
Well, I was right, because I would meet these guys who were actually, these guys were working in the field. I'll never forget this one guy that I met who had been working for this particular company many years, and I said, how is he? And he says, he just couldn't wait to retire. He says, he hated what he was doing. He was just paying the bill,
Right.
And I just wanted, that sort of influence. I said, I want to find something that I enjoy doing. And
How old were you then?
Must have been, actually, I was always the youngest in my class because my birthday was in October. So I just made... So I was always the youngest. So in college, I graduated at 17. I went to college.
Went to college
at 17.
Yeah.
Usually its average is 18. So I was a year. I was always a year younger. But there was a guy who influenced me, who decided that he was going to go into medical school. And then I said, that was one of the things I said, what kind of, I wanted, what field gave me that independence? I said, a lawyer, you can be independent, and doctor, and law. I said, I don't know, something about law, you've got to sort of, suppose you have to represent somebody.
Bend your morals. You gotta.
Yeah, the more
you gotta fudge your morals a little bit
I'm such
sometimes.
an honest type person. I said, no, I think medicine. I'll try.
So you weren't even seeing that like there could be possible independence within the engineering field. You were just like, I got to go elsewhere.
Yeah, because I saw that you're working for. Right, I didn't see independency, and unless you were like you invented
like
something.
You invented something.
I was,
right.
you're basically
true.
working for a company. And I'll never forget, I interviewed for IBM.
This is back when.
Yeah,
they were
and
the shit.
this was in New York, and that's right. I was like a big
Are they
company.
still? Do they still exist?
IBM was, and actually it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that was actually working in their sales, company, selling mainframes.
Oh wow.
And I'll never forget, it was one, I think it was One Penn Plaza. And I go in and interviewed, and I see these guys. It was sort of like, it was almost like being in a factory setting, but with tables, guys and they all looked a certain way with their ties and this and that. And I remember this guy says, he says, we expect you to take IBM home with you. I mean, like you had to be like, I'm like,
live and breathe IBM.
I went, I said, no, I just want this. So I actually, when I did graduate from engineering school, I did work a year while I was, because I had to get certain courses that I didn't have as an engineer, as pre-med, since I wasn't pre-med. Mm-hmm. So that year that I was working, after I graduated from college as an engineer, I took night courses, and I had to take 2 courses, biochemistry and biology. Those are things that I took after work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I made it, and then I applied at medical school. And I was kind of, I was very selective on the apply. Nowadays, you apply to a lot of medical schools to, make sure that you can get 20. It's very costly. But I kind of applied to just a few ones that had engineering schools, because I figured that they would, since I wasn't pre-med, that they would be looking at individuals that had broader background. So I was very selective. I was fortunate I got into it.
So hold on, let's rewind a little bit, because I want everybody to understand, like it wasn't like you got this handed to you and it was easy to pay for, like, how did you pay for college and all this other stuff?
Well, yeah. I also want everyone to understand, because something that you said was, you said that your family came from Harlem, El Barrio. But I want you to explain what El Barrio is, and really talk maybe a little bit about Spanish Harlem, because a lot of people who may be on here may not know what El Barrio is, what it means, what Spanish Harlem is.
It was a community in Harlem, in East Harlem. Actually, if anybody remembers, I'll be dating myself, West Side Story. Well, that was basically that took part.
Oh, really?
Took place in that area where you had one immigrant group, which were the Puerto Ricans that were moving into this area in Manhattan called East Harlem, where the Italians happened to, and there was conflict. So that's El Barrio, East Harlem, Spanish Harlem. And my father, immigrant, migrated from Puerto Rico, had a grocery store, and basically, we're poor family.
Poor family, right?
Your dad owned a grocery store?
Yeah, he owned a grocery store, and eventually, and we lived in this tenement building right above the grocery store. And eventually, with his hard work, he actually was able to buy the entire, how many levels?
I think it was six
levels
floors, I think,
from the individual.
5 or 6 levels.
Wow.
4 apartments per floor.
Wow.
So how did he own this? I mean, we'll end it here, but like we could go forever even into your dad, it sounds like. But like, how did he come up?
How did he go from being an immigrant from Puerto Rico coming to then owning
a convenience store?
Well,
he wasn't an immigrant?
No, because Puerto
Rico's a part of the United States.
Well, he migrated from Puerto Rico, but he had a candy store initially.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he had a small store.
Oh, that's news to me.
So he just came over here and he started a store. He saved some money.
He must have saved some. In those days, father was a bright individual, but those, it wasn't about, oh, should I go to college now?
Right.
Or do I work and make,
Those were
Yeah,
not-
college wasn't really
Right,
a
right.
necessity.
Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't an option.
it's, and a lot of those individuals from Puerto Rico that migrated from Puerto Rico, they either did, longshoremen, either went overseas,
Yes.
or they had, that it's almost like the what we see now is, again, it's interesting how one group they leave and then you have another group that sort of come into. So right now in East Harlem, you see a lot of these stores now or these convenience stores are owned by Arabs now, taking over.
Right. So there
yeah.
it is.
So they
Yeah.
sort of, kind of one group leaves and another sort of like takes over.
In that same area right now.
Yep. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and just one more thing, just so everyone, like, just because I want to, like, paint a picture,
Right, right.
Like, so where you guys lived, it was your mother, your father, and then there was 11 of you in total, right? So, but before Grandpa, let's say, bought the 6 floors or whatever, you guys were all living, like, what was the living space like? Is kind of what I'm talking, like.
Oh, that's right. We lived right above the grocery store when we were little kids. But we had I guess we must have had a 1, 2, 3 bedroom apartment with a lot of bunk beds. As we got larger, and he eventually owned the whole building, we had 2 apartments. One apartment was for the boys,
Oh, wow.
for the girls,
okay.
on right above.
That's pretty cool.
And, but yeah, he's really, that's a story.
So your dad is a hustler.
So I was just thinking that. I was like, so
No,
he's a
not-
husler.
Not a
He
hustle.
basically,
Right,
and,
right, but like
you know,
motivated
one
and
of the
like
things I say is that
yeah, entrepreneurial.
one of the things I say is that we were the sort of the nucleus of that whole neighborhood, because everybody. Remember, I talked about those longshoremen that they would leave their wives would go away for months.
Right.
That's what they call merchant.
They might not have
marines
money to pay for the groceries, so my father would have a ledger, and it would be a sort of like on a.
He'd take care of it until...
Now, when the husband came back, so he was very, well respected.
Wow.
I mean, grocery stores are very obviously,
Right.
this is before the supermarkets came in,
Right.
and then when the supermarkets came in, he had to work. I mean, some long hours. He
Right.
8 till 10 o'clock in the evenings.
And what was your father's name?
Eusebio,
Eusebio Delerme.
right?
Ah.
But
Interesting.
yeah, that's and everybody knew, my father, because and they all knew, the Delermes, and the thing about, and my mother, here we are with all these kids, and he probably had one of the first TVs.
Oh, really?
When they had TV, they would, neighbors would come in, I'll never forget the Sylvania. Forget that mark. And so the doors never closed, and
Food always
it was,
cooking.
rough
Right.
neighborhood. You had drug dealers,
Yeah.
around it,
Gangs.
gangs,
Carol,
side story.
you lived in that area as well?
Yeah, where were you?
I didn't live. I was married to his brother for 45 years.
Right.
Knew him for 48, so I've heard these stories for almost 50 years.
Oh, okay, but
So-
you didn't grow up in that
No,
area.
I grew up on the west side.
Oh,
And then
okay.
1968 came over to the east side.
Okay,
Ah.
got it.
What's
You were
the-
there with it, but when my father had the grocery
Of
store.
course,
Right,
of course.
That's the latter part. But,
Yeah. No, but hearing from Joey all those years, the stories, the
Right.
funny stories, and he used to say
And we all, that's right, and we all helped, again, having 7
Boys,
sons, so,
yeah.
we did the heavy lifting groceries, especially we had to do deliveries.
Mhm.
Or back then, oh wow, that's right, we,
Joey talks about that.
the bottles would be recycled. They had
Redeemed for 5 cents.
redeemed. That's what, so
Yeah.
they did have that way
Yes,
back.
they did.
In those days, with those heavy bottles,
Yeah.
those Coke bottles.
They don't give you anything for glass bottles
No,
nowadays.
forget about it, right?
Oh, they don't?
Because I just had 10,000 of them and I just threw them in the garbage. That's cane water literally going down the toilet.
Yeah, gone.
They don't recycle glass bottles.
Oh.
I don't know why. some weird thing now. But okay.
So cut to
So then basically you grew up. How many brothers and sisters?
11.
7 brothers, 4 sisters.
7 brothers, 4 sisters. Were you? Did any of your brothers and sisters go to college and do a similar path as you?
I was the first, and then after that, maybe 1 or 2.
Joey,
And Nelson.
Nelson for a bit.
Sonia good associate.
Sonia, yeah, she's inhalation
Okay,
therapist, yeah.
All right. But you kind of like blazed the trail for that. Okay. So then, getting back to basically we kind of went into this because we want to understand, like,
how
I want to put people's minds in your mind. Like, where were you? Like, how did he do it? Like, because there's people out probably in that same neighborhood right now that are like, all right, how do I do that? I want to be a doctor.
right. Or
Like,
that
you're just
or
sitting there, right?
Right.
So,
Or that don't think that they can, right? You know,
but,
like
I mean, that's a loaded thing as well, though, because it's all based on your own motivations and what you want to achieve in life,
and
right?
That's it's funny to see, that motivation is because just coming down here on this trip, I took a Lyft, and it was this female driver, and we driving. She's Hispanic, and we just started talking, and then I don't know, something came up about East Harlem. She says, "Oh, I grew up in East, in
Oh,
East
really?
Harlem, not too far, but now she owns a house in Yonkers. She just got out of that,
wow.
And she's
that
over
area,
here.
and it was nice. She said, I got, and then what she said was, I got a house, and she does the lift, and she does this, and she was doing it, and she mentioned that she has family members that are like, they look down at, they resent her success.
Yeah.
Her success, because she's making it,
Yeah.
And she said, look, I said, look, you just, I don't, and it's funny because she said, I mean, I don't get angry at them, but, I just tell them, look, you just gotta work hard. And,
So she's out here Ubering just because she's a hustler?
Yeah, no, she was just working,
Just like,
I mean,
good, just grinding. Yeah,
She's
yeah.
doing it. Yeah. She's like, look, I got to do it, so I'm doing it.
So basically, you're saying it sounds like it's like your own mental motivation has to drive you to different stages. Like first, I guess it was whatever jobs that you had. You initially were like, I want to be an engineer. So how do you become an engineer? All right, I got to go to school.
Right, but I had no one.
Mentors.
No
Right.
mentor, and that's the
Nobody was like
Follow suit.
telling you like,
Yeah.
hey,
role
how did you even
models.
find out about becoming? How did you even know what an engineer was?
No, that's why I went to work study. But I knew I was mechanical because I went to aviation, and I wanted to go on further.
Yeah.
And so the next thing was engineering school.
So once you got into, were you like a really good like student in like high school and
Yeah, I was
you're
pretty,
interested?
And I was very also focused. I was a lot of distractions in my neighborhood. The gangs, the this, the
Right.
I was just was very serious. Even going out with girls, guys that pregnant.
Right.
So I was like, I was kind of broke. So I saw some of this, and and seeing some of the. Like the like the thing with the drugs, like to see these hardcore drug addicts on the streets, really, that
You're like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah, I used to. That was just
Scared.
that was enough, That's why, like, when I went to college, and they're talking about weed smoking. We're like, because they called it dope.
Oh, yeah.
They called it
The
dope.
gateway
Like,
drug.
Yeah.
The gateway.
Yeah.
I would no, they call everything. I said, I've already seen what that, so I was
Actually, right.
very,
Yeah.
very, sensitive to that. But
Interesting. All right. Okay, so then fast forward again, back up to engineering, and you're like, all right, I want to be more independent,
Right.
and you decided
To
be a doctor.
yeah, because
You're just like, doctor, that's cool.
Yeah, I said, all I did was take two courses, and I said, well, let me
No, but he also said that he wanted to do something like that he was passionate about and that he actually enjoyed, right? Like you,
Yeah.
It's like helping
you didn't really
people.
enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was.
So I'm sure you did like some research and figuring out what it was, or you just kind of had it in the back of your mind at some point that maybe that you
No,
wanted
my
to-
thing was, well, what did I need to do? What are the courses that I needed to take? And that was it. And again, I was. Then you get to the next step. What kind of doctor?
Right.
And that was the whole. Again, seemed like just like an engineering school. After 2
Right,
years,
right,
and
right.
you get closer to the end, now you have to specialize.
Right.
And that was the whole thing. And
And
I
then
like
how did
and
you
since I
even
was-
choose like eyes?
Well, I was an electrical engineer, so I was easy. Electrical engineer,
Uh-huh.
the eye, the nervous system. The brain. That's why cardiology I like. Electrical pulse,
Plus, you're already dealing with very
orthopedics,
little
mechanical,
things.
So there are certain fields
Yeah.
that, and ophthalmology more so because there's a lot of equipment. I'm an equipment type person, a lot of, so that was a more of a natural progression. And the field, all age ranges. I like OBGYN. I mean, I really, again,
Yeah.
I like,
That's not mechanical or
no,
electrical.
it wasn't. It wasn't, but it was a pleasant feel. But I definitely didn't like. And so what I did is, again, being an engineer, I like to do my research and actually. It's one thing being exposed in the academic setting to medicine. I wanted to be exposed to what it was in private practice. So what I did my last year rotation, which they allowed me, I rotated for a month with individuals in the field that I was interested in their practice, so I could see how it was in their practice.
Yeah.
So I did OBGYN, and I'll never forget this. One of the junior partners there, he says he loved it, but it's a tough life. You can't schedule deliveries.
No, you can't be
And
anywhere.
this,
Yeah, you can't be
so
there.
lifestyle became
Right.
important. That's what he called lifestyle. And I did orthopedics rotation. And that was okay, but too mechanical. These guys were big guys too. And I did electrical. I did a month in ophthalmology practice. That I like. Again, nice field. So I did a few of those. And then I decided, ophthalmology was.
So how long did it take you from when you first went into college to finishing an engineering degree? How long did that take?
Yeah, so college is 4 years, and then.
All right, so you did and then that was
That
at
was
the
my
point where
engineering.
you chose. But you did engineering. You worked in
And
the
then I
engineering
worked a
field as well,
year.
right? Yeah.
So that year that I was applying, I got in the following year. So it was 4 years of college. I took a year off the work, then I got into medical school. And I was selective, and again, I applied to just a few medical schools, and the ones that I applied to were ones in the Northeast, and because of my limited funds, I chose a state school, University of Medicine and Dentistry at the time.
Did you get scholarships and stuff as well?
For that school, I didn't because it was a state school. I didn't need it. But for one school, I did. But it was a 3-year program, an accelerated program, and I was concerned that I might not. Then I spoke with some of the minority students. I said, "Look, it's kind of tough." And again, being not a pre-med, I didn't want to get into a program that you get in and you fail.
Yeah.
So and then I got into one school in Boston, Tufts. I really liked that school. But it was like so expensive, no scholarship, no money. So I went to state school, and I was happy.
So and then you did that for how many years of medical school?
4 years of that.
4 years of medical school, and then you were an official eye surgeon. At that point.
No, that's better.
Okay, so that's just the first, right?
Then the same thing happens again. My specialty after 2 years you got to decide, and then I decided that you have to apply. It doesn't mean that you're gonna get into these specialties. Some of them are very very difficult to get into. Ophthalmology was one that was very difficult. Some kids they start doing research, from day one to get the head.
So then that was another, how many years after that?
That's another 3 years.
3 years. And then you were considered an eye surgeon.
Yeah.
So I'm
but
hearing
then
like
I
11
did
years.
I did one additional specialty year. It's what's called a fellowship.
Right.
So that was another year
So I'm hearing
Yeah,
12 years, like 11, 12
so-
years.
Yeah, you
for
Wow.
college,
Yeah.
for
medical school.
medical school.
And then you took a
3 to
year off for
4,
work
3
too.
to 4 ophthalmology.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
So, and you knew that going into all this, that it was going to be a long
Yeah, there's
road,
so
right?
what I liked also was plastic surgery.
Mm.
That's there's like 7 years on top of that.
Wow. And you, so once you decided, all right, where was I going to go? So it was all this time, and how did you pay for college? Throughout the whole, like, 11, 12 years, how were you paying for it? Were you working at the same time?
Because that sounds like a lot of debt to me.
Yeah,
Or was it just loans and stuff?
No, I went to
Right,
state school.
right.
So state school, no, you get once you get the residency, you get paid. You get some money,
But
no,
that's not till, like,
no,
later, right?
That's 4 years.
Mm.
Medical school. No, so I went to state school. State school was like I think it was $4,000 a year.
4,000. So you had to work like summers or whenever
Yeah.
to like pay for that, right?
So that I worked. Don't forget, I went to college. I did work study. But no, some of those were loans.
Okay. So it was a mixture of different
The
things.
most I got, my bill was like, the people who might be listening to who might be going to medical, it's like, wow, that's all. 15,000 was all I got.
That was your total.
Yeah.
Oh my, 15,000.
But you got to
You
think
paid-
back then.
But yeah, true. But like, so you pay. It was probably more than that. You paid for some of it as well out of pocket, right?
Yeah, I must have paid a portion of that.
Yeah.
But not much.
But it was 15,000 total with everything that you
Yeah.
paid.
That's what, yeah.
What? I mean, even back then.
And I was living in Brooklyn. I was commuting. I went to go to Jersey, but I was commuting from Brooklyn because I was living in a rent control apartment for $64.
$64?
That's 60
Studio. Yeah.
studio.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you
So-
had a daughter, you had a child.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's right.
Jenny
That's
was
right.
born, yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I
Yeah.
got married.
You got married in there too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
Oh,
did
yeah.
get married. I forgot
3
about
weeks
that.
I got married and went to medical
Forgot about
school.
that.
So there was no honeymoon.
Yeah.
I got a belated honeymoon was, when because I knew my Lighty Shear was going to be my fourth year. Fourth year you have elective, so you go. So that's when we had Alyea.
Oh wow.
Jenny.
Yeah. So wow. I mean, so you must have been like incredibly stressed out at that point. No. You're probably just in a blur. You probably don't even remember it, right?
Right. You were just doing it. You were just going like because you had to.
I know that this is what I need to do.
Yeah. That's sure. I mean, it's a certain amount of stress just from just taking exams the first 2 years. But wasn't you just eat a lot of junk food. Once you did the rotation though, and you're working in the clinical area, those are tough because you could be up, late at night with patients,
Right.
and that's why they had to institute this law where the residency, if you worked overnight, you would given the day off. Before we didn't have that. If you worked all night, you work until the next day, and then you had a busy night, trauma cases, so they instituted a law with residency because some.
What law does that apply just in New York? Because, and I just asked that because I'm like, I have some people who I work with who graduated med school and who are in med school, and they're working at hospitals, some of them here, and I mean, their schedules are like, they're like working overnight and then still at the hospital the next day, and then so that's why I'm like, this is based on state, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
this was the Belt Commission. I don't know whether I thought this was. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, my sister just chimed in. She said that she paid $30,000 just for a bachelor's degree in 2003.
Right.
So
That was a
that
giveaway.
gives
I
you.
mean, guys, I'm over here waiting for Biden to hurry up and clear this damn student loan debt. That's where I'm at. I mean, you know, like, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed.
No, I got to look. Yeah, it was. Well, again, I went to state school. I wasn't going to go to Tufts. Would have killed me. Tufts was very expensive.
Right. So
in Boston, it would have cost me. I would have to move out there.
Right,
I wasn't-
move.
Here, I saved money because I was living in a rent control apartment.
Right.
Which I wasn't going to give up. I finally gave it up because after getting broken into a few times, then this Joey and Carol said, let's
We all went and
get
moved
you
them
out of here, and that's,
Yeah.
then I
Baby
moved
crib,
it with
everything.
them.
Oh,
Yeah, we lived
okay.
together for about 5 months.
Wow.
And then the
Yeah.
tenant upstairs left, and then you and Esther, and then they went
Oh,
upstairs, and they were going to be there temporary. Temporary was 5 years. You were born
Right.
there.
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
currently, you what are you doing now? You're an eye surgeon at a hospital,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
And what's your day like?
Well, not I do more administrative work now because
Okay.
I work in a teaching hospital, a community hospital, and then I do a clinic. But I like seeing patients, so it's I'm doing less surgery, but I do like seeing patients. I do administrative work also, teach residents also. So it's a nice combination of things.
Cool. Well,
So,
yeah, we wanted to make sure we told the Milton
You
Delerme
gotta have an
story.
intro. Yeah, you guys gotta know what he's about.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we've learned something through this
Yeah,
too.
totally.
Just I didn't understand. Obviously, I've only known you for a few years now. So I didn't know the whole depth
No.
of where you came.
Please
from.
understand. I also want you guys to understand, and I do think that some of this is clearly cultural, but this is my father, and I'm just hearing a lot of stuff just now. I'm like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm 39, right? But I think a lot of that has to do with just cultural stuff. I feel like in the Hispanic culture, I don't think being so open and just,
Right.
openly giving information to your kids or just talking about these things is something that's common.
Pry it out.
Yeah, you have to pry it out. So
What I was thinking when I was asking the question of all right, so you had Janique while you were in this, and you must have been stressed out. Esther was taking care of Janique, right? So probably in that culture, it's just that's what you do, right? And you're just doing what you do. Whereas now I'm thinking of it, and I'm like, I'm doing what I do, but I'm here with Soul, and I'm doing that too,
Right.
And it's this whole other level, and to me, I'm like, wow, that's you guys had a good setup.
yeah,
I mean, but it's just a different
it's just a different type. It's just
dynamic now.
dynamic.
It's I mean, there's still people. I mean, there's still cultures that's just it. It just is. The wife stays at home, and the guy goes out and does work or whatever. But
Today, that's a luxury.
right.
Different times.
Right. So, but I mean, we choose to do this because we want to raise Soul together, and we want to see her become what she's going to become. I mean, we could clearly do this a million different ways, but
I could easily work full time.
right.
I just don't want to.
You can make a zillion more dollars working.
I just don't. I would much rather be at home with my daughter.
That's and I see that in your relationship with her, the enjoyment,
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of you've got to see this the Audrey Hepburn autobiography, and that's not she gave up her acting career because when she started, she just wanted to be a mother, and the story is because you said definitely not to give, but her father left her at and this is in Germany
Or Austria or something like that. One of those places.
because that's right in Austria, because the Nazis came and took over that time. But it's an excellent autobiography, definitely.
Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, she was at her peak.
Yeah.
But when she had that
that first child, she said, I want to be home. And she just became such a home person. Then she became ambassador to the UN.
Right.
The kids, I mean, these undernourished kids throughout. I mean, it became her really, but I think that's important. Once you, that's why
I feel like I'm Audrey Hepburn. I feel like that's exactly what I'm doing. I feel like I stopped at my peak,
Yeah, there's some individuals that just say, look, I got to, they want to continue to work, and that's okay, and they get a nanny, and the nanny knows more, more than the
happens.
Right.
And that's fine. That's fine.
That's right. But no, it's I can see it in you that you just enjoy it.
It's so much
nice
fun.
to have that little break, but which is what I like doing now. I work, but then I've got to take a little time off.
Yeah, take a couple weeks off. Yeah.